Welcome to Fueling Your Legacy, hosted by Samuel Knickerbocker. Each week, we expose the faulty foundational mindsets of the past and rebuild a new, stronger foundation essential in creating your legacy. We've got a lot of work to do, so let's get started. Welcome back to Fuel Your Legacy, and this week we're going to be talking about manifesting. So many people have maybe a misconception of what manifesting is, what it looks like, what it means, and so we're going to deep dive into that. We're going to talk about on Wednesday, As Man Thinketh by James Allen. Fantastic little read. It's probably 60, 70 pages long maybe, but again, another book that if you have not learned about metacognition and really thinking about the thoughts that you're thinking, then that's a good place to start. It's pretty simple. It's a nice little parable. It really helps people understand, hey, how should I be thinking about my thoughts? And that's kind of a twisted question, but I promise you it makes sense in the context of As Man Thinketh by James Allen. So we're going to talk about that on Wednesday. And then on Friday, we have herself, the Queen of Manifesting. She has her own podcast, Queen of Manifesting, and then she does tons of different things, travels all over the country, teaching people how to manifest different things into their life. So let's get into kind of just some basic definitions about manifesting, what it is, what it isn't, how to separate, so there's clarity in that, and then we'll talk more about that on Wednesday. And then obviously the Queen of Manifesting is going to go into detail about how she uses it in her life and how she helps others use it in theirs. But that being said, there's a book, a free ebook that you can get access to if you're interested, and that is called the Fuel Your Legacy, the 9 Pillars to Build a Meaningful Legacy. And you can get access to that if you go ahead and text ebook, no spaces, no hyphens, just ebook, to 385-263-7699. That's 385-263-7699. And if you text the word ebook, just all one word, no hyphen or anything, then I will get you a link to where you can download that book directly for yourself. Read it. It's awesome. It's about a 25-page workbook, so definitely life-changing. But it's going to help you specifically with this topic of the week of creating and manifesting things into our life that we want. So it's one of the things to be aware of in manifesting. Well, first we'll just define it. Sometimes if you've read Think and Grow Rich or The Secret or some of these other books, and you've read it from we'll say a skeptical perspective, then you're sitting there, okay, just changing your thoughts isn't going to change anything. And I think that to really have a full discussion about that, you would need to understand quantum physics and understand the energy before we had a full conversation about that, which is a topic for another podcast. For today, we want to talk about what's the benefit of manifesting and how it works. Changing your thoughts does a few things for you. One, it does change the energy. It changes your actual physical state of being. Number one. Number two, it actually helps you be attracted to those things that are going to help you accomplish whatever you are striving to manifest into your life. So what does that mean? Be attracted to. Is it an energy thing? Is it like a magnet where we're literally being attracted? Or is it an awareness perspective? And I would say it's all of the above. Okay, so I would say the biggest part of it, though, is probably the awareness of. So when you get a new car, then you go drive out on the street, you start to see that car everywhere. Well, that's how the law of attraction or manifesting works most. And that's really the principal mechanism of it. And then there's some other aspects of it that are more of a quantum physical realm, and we could talk about that another time. But for today, when you start thinking about something, when you start focusing on something, it's more about that's every time your brain gets asked a question, it needs an answer to that question. So if you wake up in the morning and you say, man, I live this wonderful life. I've got a wonderful family. I've got a great income. I've got a great job or profession or whatever it is that you do. Then your mind starts looking for ways to make that true in your life. Vice versa is true as well. So statistically, more suicides happen on Monday morning at around 9 a.m. than at any other single hour in the week. Okay. And that's kind of a depressing statistic. And I just want people to be aware there's a reason for it. People, they don't love what they do for work. They dread going to work. They dread it for so many reasons, whether it's sexual abuse, harassment, they just suck at their job. It's too stressful. They don't get paid enough. Whatever the case may be, people struggle, as a general rule, going to work on Monday morning. And they've created a story that they've told themselves probably for months, if not years, about how much they hate their job. They're treated poorly at their job, right? So they're at every day that they tell themselves this, they're actually confirming, one, that they believe that, but two, their mind is programmed now to look for every instance where they feel slighted, where they feel put down upon, where they feel looked over, unappreciated, all of those things. They're now hyper aware of all of those aspects of their life. And then you see them when they come home from work and say, hey, how was your day? And then they sit there and like, oh, it was terrible. This happened, this happened, this happened. And it's just a laundry list of all the things that are going bad in their life, right? And a simple question could change your whole entire state. These people are generally, they crouch over more. They're sluggish. They aren't moving swiftly because that's the state that they get put in by what they're thinking. If instead you woke up and said, man, I'm so grateful for my job. I'm grateful that I'm able to go to work. I'm grateful that I have income. I'm grateful that I have clothes to wear to my job. I'm grateful that I have transportation. You start listing off all of the things that you're grateful for. Your mind starts to begin to look for more things to be grateful for. And so when you're manifesting something, the act of manifesting ultimately is repeating in your mind with focus and intention and feeling and experiencing whatever it is that you want as if you already have it, as if you are living the life already. So great resources for this are As a Man Thinketh. I would say The Secret's a pretty good resource. The Think and Grow Rich, probably the best resource. Another one is The Power of the Subconscious Mind by Joseph Murphy. Think and Grow Rich is by not Neil Carnegie. Oh, I just forgot the author of Think and Grow Rich. That's hilarious. Anyways, Think and Grow Rich, great book. I can't believe I forgot the author's name. But you're going to want to go read these books because they really do help shift the way your mind works, the way it operates, what it looks for, and especially once you put it into practice. It's basically useless unless it's put into practice. So that is something that we just have to kind of accept. All of this information, absolutely useless unless it's put into practice. So I'll use a religious example of this. I was sitting in church the other day and we were talking about the atonement of Jesus Christ and then his resurrection. We're like, well, why? What's the meaning of the resurrection of Jesus Christ? And I wanted so badly to stand up and say, look, the resurrection of Jesus Christ is absolutely meaningless unless we give it meaning, right? Just sometimes, often, I would say often, in religious institutions, you walk in and people talk about the gospel of Jesus Christ, or they talk about Judaism, or they talk about Islam. They talk about the doctrine or the practices and all these things, and they talk about it like it's some distant thing in the past, and we kind of have some application to the future or today. But what I believe is a more effective use of our time, if we're going to be on a subject, why not really talk about what it means to you as an individual? How do you act differently because you believe that Jesus Christ was resurrected? Like what specific things on a daily basis do you do differently in your life because you believe that? If we make ourselves aware of and make these connections to the fact that we're doing X, Y, and Z because of A, B, and C, we are going to feel so much more aware of our actions. And what that does is it makes everything more impactful, more meaningful, more emotionally charged, because now we have connection involved in that. I believe that manifesting, the greatest key to manifesting something else in your life is getting connected with it, becoming part of it, letting it become part of you, and really melding the life that you want into the life that you have, not by living above your means or going out over your skis on something, but by intentionally creating the future that you're looking for. And that is done by manifesting. So one of the things that helps manifesting is constant recital and experiencing what you want. So writing it down on a list, reading it out loud, and allowing yourself, don't just blow through it in 3 or 4 minutes because you're short on time. Allow yourself to really experience what it would be like to have what you have. So one of the things that I tell myself is I tell myself about the house that I want. My house, I want it to be a colonial style house with pillars, white brick and big white pillars around it, a wraparound deck, 2-story. I want tan pebbles, maybe about 1/4 inch pebbles on the driveway with a fountain in the center. I want green grass, almost like golf course grass, that starts lower and then moves up to the hill where my property is. During that hill progression, I want a little side off to go to my garage. My garage will open with a kind of an ivy covered door. I'll go into my garage. It will be underground, like a fallout shelter compound, in which I will have multiple stations, a lot like on Iron Man, where the cars will be sitting. And I want to collect vintage cars because I think they're really cool, vintage cars. Inside of that, you might think, well, where's the light going to come from if it's such a compound? There will be some white fluorescent lights, but a lot of the light, I want some natural light in there. I'm going to have an aquarium separating, like along one wall of my garage will be an aquarium. And on the other side of that that aquarium wall will actually be my outdoor/indoor swimming pool for my house. And so while you're swimming, you can actually be swimming essentially in an aquarium, but not in an aquarium. That'll help the temperature be better moderated, also give us natural light into our garage and good scenery. So and then around the whole property, I want like English manor type style gardens and trees to line it. Now, because I am very specific about what I want, I have to then go out and create maybe or put my dream home in an environment that all of those things can exist peacefully and not be too hard to maintain, because I also want to be somewhat eco-friendly and cost efficient. Not because I am worried about cost, but because I believe that I have other things that I value as of right now more than just my house, right? I like traveling. I like going out and doing things. So that's just one thing that I tell myself in Great Teal. I can see myself driving around, up, getting out of my car and walking up to the front door. I can see myself walking into my house, looking at the room, seeing the dance or ballroom areas, seeing the piano room, seeing the musical performance areas, seeing the kitchen and living room where our family can congregate. All those things, they're so, like when I close my eyes, I can see them with vivid detail, and I can see myself interacting with not just my family, direct family, but all of my in-laws, all of my extended family, all fitting into our house comfortably and being able to communicate and enjoy this environment. Can you talk about your future with that much detail? That's the definition of, that's one of the signs of manifesting, is getting to the point where you can really experience what you want to experience in the future, but experience it now. And as you begin to experience that, then my mind starts to create all of these scenarios of how I can accomplish that. How could I move closer to my goal? What do I need to do from an income perspective? From who do I need to know to get the income? How do I market myself? All those things come to me because I think about what I want my future to be like in fitness and in finance and in family and my house, all these things. So for you, ask yourself that question. What am I intentionally creating? What am I manifesting into my life? And if I'm not satisfied with where I'm at, it's because I haven't manifested what I want. And if that's the case, what am I going to do today? What are you going to change today to begin manifesting what you want? Now, the workbook that I spoke about in the beginning, Fuel Your Legacy, the 9 Pillars of Building a Meaningful Legacy, it's a great book to understand really why build that legacy of meaning, why have a legacy, and why use these tools to fuel that legacy. So if you want access to that ebook, just text the word ebook, EBOOK, all one word, to 385-263-7699, and we'll get you that book. You'll be able to read it and to begin creating a legacy of meaning for you and your family. We'll catch you next time on Fuel Your Legacy. Thanks for joining us today. If what you heard resonated with you, please like, comment, and share on social media. Tag me so I can give you a shout out on the next episode. And thanks to all those who have left a review. It helps spread the message of what it really takes to build a legacy that lasts. Catch you next time on Fueling Your Legacy.